selection of a vice president is a pivotal moment in any presidential campaign. To understand the strategic calculus behind this choice, we need to first understand the man himself. Tim Walz, born and raised in Mankato, Minnesota, embodies the values of the Midwest hard work, community, and a commitment to public service. Growing up in a family of educators, Walz witnessed firsthand the transformative power of education. These values would later guide his career path, first as a high school geography teacher and football coach, and later as a member of the Minnesota National Guard. Walz's upbringing in a working-class family shaped his perspective on the challenges facing ordinary Americans. He understands the struggles of families trying to make ends meet, the importance of affordable health care, and the need for an economy that works for everyone.
Section 2, From Classroom to Congress. Walz's decision to enlist in the National Guard after 24 years of teaching reflects his strong sense of patriotism and duty.
He served our country with distinction, rising to the rank of Command Sergeant Major. His military service took him to places far from the classrooms of Mankato, broadening his horizons and deepening his understanding of the world. Upon returning home, Walz felt a renewed call to service, this time in the political arena. He ran for Congress in 2006, campaigning on a platform of strengthening public education, expanding access to affordable healthcare, and supporting our veterans. His message resonated with voters in Minnesota's 1st Congressional District, and he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, where he served for 6 terms.
Section 3, Gubernatorial Leadership. In 2018, after 12 years in Congress, Walz decided to set his sights on the governor's mansion in Minnesota. He campaigned on a promise to bring people together, bridge divides, and move Minnesota forward.
His message of unity and progress resonated with voters, and he was elected governor, making history as the first Democrat to hold that office in Minnesota in over a decade. As governor, Walz has focused on investing in education, expanding access to affordable healthcare, and creating an economy that works for everyone.
His leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic has been particularly noteworthy.
Walz took decisive action to protect the health and safety of Minnesotans, working closely with public health experts and implementing science-based policies.
Section 1, A Bridge Across the Aisle. Tim Walz's selection as a potential vice presidential candidate signals a strategic move by the Democratic nominee, aiming to solidify their appeal across a broader political spectrum.
Walz's reputation as a moderate Democrat, capable of working effectively with both sides of the aisle, makes him a valuable asset in today's polarized political landscape. His ability to find common ground and build consensus has been evident throughout his career, from his time in Congress to his tenure as governor of Minnesota.
In an era marked by partisan gridlock, Walz's collaborative approach offers a refreshing alternative, appealing to voters who are tired of the constant bickering and obstructionism.
This ability to reach across the aisle is particularly crucial in the current political climate, where the balance of power in Congress remains precariously close. The choice of Tim Walz also reflects a concerted effort to win back the hearts and minds of voters in the Midwest, a region that has become increasingly competitive in recent elections.
Walz's deep roots in the heartland, his understanding of the challenges facing rural communities, and his commitment to representing the interests of working families make him a compelling figure for voters in states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
His background as a teacher and coach resonates with the values and aspirations of many Midwesterners. His focus on practical solutions, rather than ideological purity, aligns with the pragmatic nature of the region.
By choosing Walz, the Democratic nominee sends a clear message that they understand the concerns of Midwestern voters and are committed to addressing them.
times of uncertainty and upheaval, voters often gravitate towards leaders who project an aura of stability and competence.
Tim Walz's calm demeanor, his reasoned approach to problem solving, and his track record of steady leadership offer a sense of reassurance to an electorate grappling with a multitude of challenges.
His experience navigating the COVID-19 pandemic, a crisis that demanded both empathy and decisiveness, demonstrated his ability to lead under pressure. His handling of the pandemic earned him praise from both Democrats and Republicans in Minnesota, solidifying his image as a level-headed leader who puts the needs of his constituents first.
In an era marked by volatility and unpredictability, Walz's steady hand at the helm could prove to be a valuable asset to the presidential ticket.
Tim Walz's lifelong commitment to public service has been driven by a deep-seated belief in the power of government to improve people's lives. Throughout his career, he has consistently championed policies that support working families, expand access to affordable healthcare, and create opportunities for all Americans to succeed.
His own upbringing in a working-class family instilled in him a deep understanding of the challenges faced by ordinary Americans.
As a congressman, he fought tirelessly for veterans' rights, rural development, and investments in education and infrastructure. As governor of Minnesota, he has made significant strides in expanding access to affordable healthcare, raising the minimum wage, and providing paid family leave.
His selection as a potential vice presidential candidate sends a clear message to working families across the country. Their voices are heard, their struggles are understood, and their needs will be prioritized.
Tim Walz's selection sends a powerful message to the Democratic base, potentially galvanizing key voter groups who will be crucial for securing victory in the upcoming election.
His track record on progressive issues, coupled with his down-to-earth demeanor, could resonate deeply with voters seeking a leader who understands their concerns and will fight for their interests.
His unwavering support for labor unions, his commitment to affordable health care, and his advocacy for social justice align with the priorities of many Democratic voters, particularly in urban areas and among minority communities.
Walz's selection could energize these voters, inspiring them to turn out in droves on election day.
His presence on the ticket could also help to mobilize younger voters, who are often disillusioned with traditional politics, but may be drawn to Walz's authenticity and his focus on issues such as climate change and student debt relief. The potential selection of Tim Walz as vice president signals a changing of the guard within the Democratic Party, ushering in a new generation of leadership with a fresh perspective and a deep understanding of the challenges facing the country.
Walz's relatively young age, his experience governing in a Midwestern state, and his pragmatic approach to politics set him apart from the party's old guard.
His rise to prominence reflects the evolving demographics and priorities of the Democratic electorate.
His focus on issues such as climate change, income inequality, and affordable health care resonates with younger voters who are increasingly shaping the party's agenda.
Walz's selection could also appeal to voters who are seeking a break from the partisan gridlock and ideological battles that have come to define Washington, D.C.
By embracing a new generation of leadership, the Democratic Party signals its willingness to adapt to the changing political landscape and connect with a broader range of voters.
The potential selection of Tim Walz as vice president has the potential to reshape the political landscape, particularly in the Midwest, a region that has become increasingly competitive in recent elections.
Walz's appeal to working-class voters, his moderate stance on some issues, and his focus on pragmatic solutions could resonate with voters who have drifted away from the Democratic Party in recent years.
His presence on the ticket could put pressure on Republicans in states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, forcing them to defend their record and articulate a clear vision for the future.
Walz's candidacy could also energize Democratic voters in these states, potentially leading to higher voter turnout and a more competitive electoral map.
His focus on issues such as manufacturing jobs, trade, and infrastructure could resonate with voters in these states, particularly those who have been negatively impacted by globalization and automation. Section 4. Policy Implications. A look ahead. The potential selection of Tim Walz as Vice President could have significant policy implications, particularly in areas such as education, healthcare, and climate change.
Walz's background as a teacher and his commitment to investing in public education suggests that he would be a strong advocate for policies aimed at improving the quality of education for all Americans.
His experience as governor of Minnesota, where he expanded access to affordable healthcare, suggests that he would be a vocal proponent of strengthening the Affordable Care Act and expanding access to quality healthcare for all. Section 5. The Road to November. As we move closer to the November election, the selection of a vice presidential candidate will dominate political discourse.
Tim Walz's potential nomination adds intrigue to an already captivating election cycle. His background and policies will be scrutinized by both parties and the media.
The coming weeks are crucial for the campaign to introduce Walz to a national audience. His performance in debates and appearances will be closely watched.
The road to November is long and arduous, and the outcome is far from certain. Walz's selection as a potential running mate could profoundly impact the race for the White House.
Section 1. Swift Reactions. The political world erupted in response to the news, with reactions pouring in from across the spectrum. Party leaders, strategists, and pundits quickly took to the airwaves and social media, offering their initial assessments.
Prominent Democrats praised the choice, highlighting Walz's experience and electability. Republicans, as expected, offered a more critical take. Some questioned Walz's moderate credentials, painting him as a tax and spend liberal. The initial reactions underscored the high stakes of the VP selection and the intense scrutiny it would face.
Beyond the partisan back and forth, political analysts and commentators delved deeper into the strategic implications of the VP pick. They dissected the potential impact on key demographics, the electoral map, and the overall dynamics of the race.
Some experts argued that Walz's selection was a shrewd move designed to shore up support in the Midwest, a region crucial for any path to victory. They pointed to his appeal among blue-collar workers and rural voters, demographics that had drifted away from the Democratic Party in recent elections.
Others focused on Walz's ability to mobilize the Democratic base. They argued that his progressive credentials on issues like healthcare and climate change would energize core constituencies, particularly young people and minority voters, who would be crucial for driving turnout.
The consensus among experts was that the VP selection was a well-calculated gamble, one with the potential to pay significant dividends, but not without its risks. It remained to be seen how effectively the campaign could leverage Walz's strengths and mitigate any potential weaknesses.
The media coverage of the VP selection reflected the deep polarization in American politics. Outlets framed the news through a partisan lens, highlighting aspects of Walz's background that aligned with their narratives.
Liberal media praised Walz's experience and commitment to progressive values. They emphasized his record on healthcare, education, and climate change.
Conservative media cast a skeptical eye on Walz's selection. They questioned his moderate credentials and ties to labor unions.
The stark contrast in media coverage underscored the challenges of navigating a political landscape defined by echo chambers and partisan bias.
Social media platforms exploded with reactions, analysis, and commentary in the hours and days following the VP announcement. The news spread like wildfire, becoming a trending topic on Twitter, Facebook, and other platforms, as users shared their thoughts, engaged in debates, and dissected the implications.
The hashtag Tim Walz VP quickly gained traction, becoming a focal point for discussions about his qualifications, his policies, and his potential impact on the race. Supporters used the platform to express their enthusiasm, share positive articles and videos, and mobilize others to support the ticket.
Critics, meanwhile, took to social media to voice their opposition, highlighting concerns about Walz's record and attempting to undermine his candidacy. They circulated negative articles, shared critical memes and graphics, and used the platform to amplify their message and sow doubt among voters.
The VP selection became a case study in the power and peril of social media in modern politics. It demonstrated the platform's ability to shape public discourse, mobilize supporters, and influence perceptions, but also its potential to spread misinformation, exacerbate divisions, and fuel negativity. The selection of Tim Walz as a potential vice presidential candidate injects a potent mix of experience, pragmatism, and Midwestern sensibility into the race for the White House. His background, his policies, and his leadership style offer a distinct contrast to the current political climate, potentially appealing to voters seeking a different kind of leadership. Whether this strategic gamble pays off remains to be seen. The road ahead is fraught with challenges, from navigating the complexities of a polarized electorate to withstanding the relentless scrutiny of a 24/7 news cycle. One thing is certain, the 2024 election just got a whole lot more interesting. Stay tuned, folks, as the race for the White House enters a new and unpredictable chapter. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more in-depth political analysis, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching.